everybody, this is Tasia from Love Light Home Design, your home harmony healer. So today is the day that we're going to start a whole new journey with regards to home harmony healing. And I'm sure a lot of you are wondering what on earth that means. But before we get into it, I'm going to introduce myself a little bit. So I am born of Chinese heritage. However, because I was born in Oxford, England, I wasn't exactly brought up within the culture itself. My family did move to Singapore, where my parents' families are from, that part of the world, when I was in my early preteens. And that started this whole aspect of being in a very different society, different culture, different world, different climate, different food. Everything was different. And for the next 20 odd years that I lived in Singapore, I really, unfortunately, didn't really feel like I had a home, in a sense. I had a roof over my head. I had a place that I dwelled within. But if you ask me, did I really have a home? I didn't. So what does that mean? It means, to me, a home is a safe haven. It's a place where my heart resides. It's a place where I feel at peace, at harmony with things. And for a lot of you who don't feel that, or who could make it a lot better, this is what I mean by a home. You know, because a lot of people say home is where the heart is, isn't it? So because I didn't feel that, it's one of the reasons why I opened this company, Love Light Home Design. And even though it says design in it, what I am is actually a home harmony healer. I go into a place and I harmonize the space, and I do it obviously through design, because that's what the company is about, but I also use feng shui, and I use what you would call clairvoyancy. And don't let me scare you with that, because it doesn't mean what it really means. Oh, it does, but just not in the way that you think it is. So feng shui itself, we will go into in the next video what is feng shui. Just so you know, it just isn't organizing. There's a lot of science behind feng shui. It's a very old, ancient art. I didn't learn it when I was in Singapore, but I did learn a lot of aspects of feng shui, which I bring into the business right now. Singapore itself is a multicultural country, and I've taken on a lot of learnings from there, because when you're put into a country that you don't understand, especially when it has so many different cultures, I am one of those people who does a ton of research and really wanted to understand everything about the Chinese culture. And when I say I wanted to understand the Chinese culture, I didn't know how to use chopsticks till I arrived in Singapore. That tells you how much I don't know Chinese culture. I also wanted to understand the Malay culture, Indian culture, even though there's so many different kinds of Hinduism or being from India. It's such a vast country. And just about anything Asian or Oriental, or whatever you want to call it. Here in the Western world, we don't like to use the word Oriental, but I see nothing wrong with that, because it's such a beautiful part. I call the Orient a beautiful place to be. Now, what does home harmony healing mean? When I go into your place, I literally mean that I'm going to be using feng shui, and it's not the kind of feng shui that you would use in Asia per se, because a lot of that is integrated with culture and superstitions. I don't use little Chinese objects like tortoises and little lions and things like that. I actually use design. I shift the space. And if the space has any negative energy from different aspects, it doesn't necessarily have to be in a spirit. It could just be negative energy that is placed within the space. And I want to shift it to by using energy breakthroughs to something that's harmonious, positive, with growth. Then, of course, I would shift it. And that's what I mean by the clairvoyancy. So why do we do it? Because don't you want your home to be joyful, abundant, healthy, prosperous? Don't you want it to be peaceful and harmonious? Think about it. You may have a great space right now, but could it actually be better? Of course it can. And if you don't have a great space, because a lot of people come to me and say, Tasia, you know, it's like, I live in a rented space. So what? It doesn't make any difference. Is it not your home? Is it not a place that you go home to at the end of the day, where you want to rest, relax, be in a peaceful place, and you just want to heal? And that's what home harmony healing is about. Every home that I go into or that I try and move is going to be different. Each of it has its own personal fingerprint. So the way I move things together is always going to be different, but it comes to the same point. I want to bring love and light into your home. Do you want better relationships with the people in your home? Do you want self-care? A lot of people don't look after themselves. They give so much to everybody else outside the home or even in the home, but they don't look after themselves enough. And during this time where we're starting the videos during the coronavirus, where we're all social distancing, and we're in our homes, just, maybe we go for a walk, but besides that, we're in our homes 24/7. This is actually extremely important, and this is the reason why we're starting these videos now. And do you want a growth mindset? Do you want to grow your space? Do you want to attract just so much positivity to your space? Let me give you an example. This is a call out to Lana. She and I did an assessment on her home last year, feng shui assessment. And I met her earlier this year at a networking event, and she told me, she said her teenage sons and his friends were commenting that, and asking her, like, the home is so peaceful right now. It's such a, it feels so different. What on earth did she do? Did she redesign a space? And I know that she didn't do a lot, but she did follow what I asked her to do. And we also, when I went into the home, I shifted a ton of energy, just so that it moved to a very different aspect. And she was just amazed that that was all that was needed. The moment I left the house, everything was different. And a lot of people tell me that when I go into the homes, when I do what I do, when I leave, it's almost immediate. I've heard that so many times. And I'm just grateful that I have the ability and the gifts to be able to do that for everyone that I meet. Because if I can move your home, if your home can be loving and joyful, that's really what I'm trying to do with the business. So in the next video, we're going to talk about feng shui and what it is and how it actually moves your life. But for now, I'm going to leave you, and I hope you have an excellent day. And I'm saying goodbye now. This is Tassia from Love Light Home Design, your home harmony healer, bringing the heart to every space. Bye for now.